Good morning, everyone. I am meteorologist James Long with Dynamic Weather Agency, and I got a great video for you guys today. Today we're going to be talking about some blizzard conditions, gusty winds, the potential for flooding, another winter storm, who is going to possibly see a white Christmas, a push of some really cold air, and of course some severe weather. Although it is winter, we still are expecting some severe storms today and tomorrow. So, but first, before we get into this video, I need you guys to like this video and subscribe to our channel. After you hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also, be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also, check us out on our website at dynamicweatheragency.com. So let's get into today's video. Also, if you really enjoy these videos, if you would like to support us, check us out on Patreon, where you can donate to help me make more videos like this and create better content. Also, we plan to go chasing tomorrow, and we want to be able to live stream this event for you guys too. So Patreon subscribers will be able to get to see some of our chase footage before it gets posted online. So be sure to check that out. Alright, so taking a look at current radar, we do see some snow falling up in the northern Great Plains. We also see a narrow band of precipitation stretching from the Great Lakes all the way down to Louisiana, and then some snow and some precipitation over Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Taking a look at the National Weather Service's current watches, warnings, and advisories, we have blizzard warnings in effect for portions of the upper Great Plains and parts of Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska, with some winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories around that. We also have high wind warnings in effect for portions of the upper Great Plains and parts of the Great Plains due to these intense low pressure, and the high pressure that's located over northwestern CONUS is creating a strong pressure gradient over the area that's creating strong winds. We also see wind advisories ahead of the cold front that will be also creating some gusty winds as this low pressure system tracks to the east. We see winter storm watches in effect for portions of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. That's affecting parts of New York, Pennsylvania, and northern Ohio. Also, winter storm watches for portions of Appalachia and parts of West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, and extreme northeastern Tennessee. We also are seeing some flash flood watches in parts of the northeast and extreme north mid-Atlantic, where we saw some of that heavy snowfall from the last winter storm Gale, just last week. Taking a look at the current surface analysis, we see that low pressure center located over Minnesota with a cold front stretching through the Great Plains down into portions of New Mexico, with a stationary boundary behind that. You can see the tight pressure gradient over parts of the northern Great Plains and Great Plains is creating those gusty winds with the high pressure the northwestern U.S. You also see that this gradient will be increasing over parts of the Great Plains and Tennessee Valley region as this low begins to transition eastward across CONUS. Taking a look at the upper Great Plains and parts of the Great Plains, we can see those gusty wind conditions due to that tight pressure gradient over the area. You see winds in the upper 30s to the low to mid 50 mile per hour range, with winds being reported near 60 miles per hour in some locations. Taking a look at current temperatures, cold air in the western U.S., warm air in parts of the eastern central U.S. with some warm air advection in the warm sector of this low pressure center. You can see some cold air in the northeast and some cold air damming occurring in parts of the mid-Atlantic. Taking a look at 24-hour temperature changes, you can see how much colder the western U.S. is today compared to it was yesterday around this time, and how much more warmer parts of the central U.S. is, and parts of southern CONUS and parts of the Midwest and Great Great Plains region. You also see that cold air damming that's affecting parts of the mid-Atlantic, and then colder temperatures affecting parts of the northeast. Alright, so taking a look at what's going on synoptically, we're looking at our 300 millibar chart. This is showing us our jet stream in our atmosphere. We see a nice upper level ridge off of the western conus, with a nice deep trough in the central conus, and a nice ridge over the eastern conus. Taking a look at the polar front jet, we have this nice area of energy moving into the trough that's going to deepen the upper level trough. It's also going to bring in that push of cold air that we saw, that we also were able to see on the 24-hour temperature change maps and the current temperature analysis. This upper level ridge is going to bring in warmer air, as we saw on the 24-hour temperature change and the current temperature analysis. There is a finger of the Arctic jet in Canada, up in this region. And then there is a portion of the subtropical jet moving over southern conus across this region. You also have some diffluent flow over parts of the southern conus and parts of the Gulf Coast region where we have that severe weather. This is creating some exhaust aloft. As we move down in the atmosphere to our 500 millibar chart, we see a similar pattern. You also see some cold air advection across this region, some warm air advection across this region. Also, taking a look at 500 millibar vorticity, this is showing spin in the atmosphere. We see a nice vort maximum entering that base of that trough. Taking a look at 700 millibar vorticity, we also see a vort max at the base of the trough with a minor shortwave trough in Missouri and western Illinois, and another minor shortwave trough in Oklahoma extending down into Texas. This minor shortwave trough will help enhance lift across this region. Moving further down into our atmosphere, we're taking a look at 850 millibars. We see that cold air advection across this region right here, and some warm air advection across this region right here. This is where we have that nice troughing. This is where we have that ridging. Got a nice low-level jet moving across the across parts of Texas into Arkansas. At 850 millibars, we also see a nice plume of moisture being evected across the region. This is another ingredient needed for thunderstorms. At 900 millibars, we see this nice theta E ridge. Taking a look at 925 and 850 millibar frontogenesis, we see strong frontogenesis along the cold front, and we also see very strong frontogenesis occurring along the warm front. This strong frontogenesis boundary that's going to be located across the northern Great Plains will create some enhanced snowfall across this region. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at our Futurecast radar. You can see that we have that snowfall occurring over parts of the upper Great Plains and into parts of the upper Midwest. You'll start to see precipitation begin to increase ahead of the surface cold front. Some thunderstorms begin to develop late this evening into the overnight hours. We move into the morning hours of Christmas Eve. We'll see snowfall across parts of the upper Midwest and parts of Michigan. As we move through the day, we'll start to see a low begin to develop across parts of the Appalachian Mountains, and we'll also start seeing some of the precipitation along the cold front begin to transition from rain to snow. This is going to start bringing some snow late on Christmas Eve to parts of the Ohio Valley and parts of the Mid-Atlantic, such as parts of West Virginia and western Pennsylvania and western New York. Some of that snow will transition its way across to parts of the Northeast on Christmas Day. And that low pressure system will begin to move off by the 26th with some lake effect snow on Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. So the big question everyone's wondering is, am I going to have a white Christmas? How much snow am I going to see? Well, this is our snowfall map right here for the next 72 hours. This ends on the 26th at 7 a.m. The legend is in the top right corner. of the header up here. Just follow this legend key right here and it'll tell you how many inches of snow you are expected to see. So if you are in this blue region near Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, you expect to see 1 to 3 inches of snow. The next blue region is 3 to 5, the purple 5 to 8, the darker purple 8 to 12. I'll leave this map up for a second so you guys can take a look. So let's take a look at some of this cold air and the severe weather threat. So taking a look at this energy moving into this trough, it's going to deepen it, bring in this push of cold air. You can see that jet max moving to the southeast and parts of the mid-Atlantic. That's going to support the development of this low that's going to allow for some of that snowfall that we're expecting to see over the Ohio Valley region along the new cold front and new warm front. Take a look at 500 millibars. We're going to see that deepening of that 500 millibar trough, increasing vorticity with that vort max moving into that trough on day 2. Going back to our 300 millibar analysis earlier, we were talking about that ridge, trough, ridge pattern. We take a look at 500 millibar height anomalies. We see these low height anomalies moving in. That's indicating some cold air. We'll see those height anomalies continue to intensify as this upper level trough begins to deepen, bringing in that push of cold air on the 24th and 25th. Taking a look at 2 meter temperature anomalies, you can see those warm temperatures over the central and eastern CONUS with that that kind of correlates with those 24-hour temperature changes. You'll see that push of cold air begin to move in right behind it. Temperatures being 10 to 20 degrees cooler than normal on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and even into the day after Christmas. This is the forecasted low temperatures for Christmas Eve. These are the forecasted high temperatures for Christmas Eve. These are the low temperatures for Christmas morning. See that nice Arctic air pushing in to the upper Midwest and parts of the upper Great Plains. This is the high temperatures expected for Christmas Day. Very cold air over the Midwest, Ohio Valley. Low temperatures for the day after Christmas. And here are the high temperatures for the day after Christmas. Going back to 300 millibars, we were talking about we had that diffluent flow. We have that shortwave moving in. It's going to provide some lift on day 2. On day 2, we still see diffluent flow over the mid-Atlantic states. Taking a look at bulk shear, we see we have substantial amount of bulk shear across the Gulf Coast region. That will support the development of organized storms. That's going to move its way into the mid-Atlantic with substantial bulk shear tomorrow. Taking a look at Cape and crossover winds, we can see we have weak instability over the Gulf coastal region. So most of this is going to be synoptic forcing and shear. I see some nice directional and speed shear over the Gulf Coast states. That's going to allow for organized convection and isolated tornado threat. The energy is going to move its way up into the mid-Atlantic tomorrow. Again, tomorrow we're going to see similar conditions. We're going to see very weak surface instability with very strongly sheared environment with synoptic forcing. This is a look at the day 2 convective outlook. You can see thunderstorms expected across parts of the southeast CONUS and mid-Atlantic, where we have some of that diffluent flow, the exhaust aloft, the moist air advection, the sheared environment, and weak surface instability, and the support from the shortwave trough moving through. We could expect to see an isolated tornado event over parts of eastern North Carolina, and also the threat for damaging winds with organized storms. And as always with severe weather, be sure to check out and review some of these safety tips. Also, if you haven't noticed, there's some of our chasing footage playing down below. If you like some of that, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We tend to chase a lot. Our footage can be seen on the Weather Channel, Good Morning America, and many local and national news agencies. You can also find us on the TV series World's Wildest Weather that is playing on the Weather Channel late at night. We are on Season 2, Episode 6, showing the Kokomo, Indiana tornado. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and if you like what we do, be sure to check us out on Patreon, and we will be offering some great perks for our Patreon subscribers. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm meteorologist James Lomoff, signing out.